Hey, what's going on, guys? Jacob here. Today we are back with the Disney Vlog Chronicles. Editor Jacob, put like a little sparkle. You got it. Anyway, yesterday we uploaded the Animal Kingdom vlog. Go check that out if you haven't already. Now, Animal Kingdom was fun and all, especially for the first day. But this next kingdom was a whole new beast. And before we had to conquer a park, we had to conquer a little something that decided to visit us that morning.
No, it's wings.
What the is that?
I was trying to shoot it.
It has wings. It's a wing.
Fight.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Finish it.
What in the Murder that shit.
After Brandon's battle with the mosquito, we decided to continue on our journey, now re-energized through Pop Century, and you know, I kind of embraced the scenery now that I had hydration and sleep. But as we were strolling through our new resort, the boys got distracted by a little game.
Left hand red, baby.
Now, I don't know how this happened, but somewhere in Pop Century, there's a twister board that will always land on right foot blue.
Right foot blue. Oh no, right foot blue.
I guess gravity just decided to take its course and it chose right foot blue. As we continued through Pop Century to the bus stop, we once again were stopped by what we couldn't ignore. A goofy-aw car.
Anyone in there?
Now that the distractions had finally subsided, we made our way onto a bus to head to the Magic Kingdom. This now marked the second day that we had had some trouble getting into the park, but that did not stop me and Brandon from having fun.
Brandon at DisneyWorld.
I got stopped by security.
The Magic Kingdom is what everyone thinks of when they think Disney World, the castle. And oh boy, we saw that castle. Now, little known fact about Eric, he is a Disney enthusiast, and a while ago when we learned about this trip, he told us one thing. We were rope dropping the Magic Kingdom. Now, some of you, like me, don't know what that means. I did not know what that meant until that morning. That meant that we were going to be at the park when it opened. So we had to wait before. So that took a little bit. It was us and every other family in Florida. But everyone who rope dropped decided to go to some of the bigger rides, like Space Mountain, the Haunted Mansion, etc. We decided to start a little small with the Seven Dwarfs. Because Seven Dwarfs isn't the big attraction, we didn't have to wait too long, luckily, but even though we didn't have to wait as long, there was still some fun interactive stuff in the line. Overall, a pretty fun ride, you know, good roller coaster. I give it around 5 dwarves out of 7. You know who I'm leaving out. I'm looking at you, Grumpy. Now, we used Jacob's virtual queue to queue up for Space Mountain, as that is the big ride, of course. So we entered Tomorrowland. And so as we waited, we went through Buzz Lightyear's something. I don't remember the exact name of it, but you went around, you had like those little blasters, and you shot the Z's. It was alright. I give it like 5 Buzz Lightyear toys that filled 10 boxes. Now, I don't really have a lot of footage for Space Mountain because of how terrified I was. I was pretty excited going in, but I was not prepared mentally. Now, since this was a school trip, I brought a backpack with a lot of my school stuff, and they don't really have a place on Space Mountain to put your bag, so you have to just like put it in front of you on the ground and hold on to it. And that caused a lot of panic for me. All that was going through my head on Space Mountain, as I could not see anything, and I was just going for a twirl, was, oh no. Because I felt bars of the roller coaster. I shit you not, I did not think halfway through that I was gonna walk out of Space Mountain in one piece. I was full on, I was like, alright, if this is it, at least it's on Space Mountain, you know? I tell my mom I love her, but Mickey took me. Rest assured, got off of that stress-inducing ride, And the way I would describe Space Mountain isn't my stomach dropped because of, oh, these heights and it was more my stomach dropped because I was seeing my life flash before my eyes. It was bad. But if we're being unbiased here, if I could go on that again with better circumstances, it would be pretty fun. And I'd give it around 8 rockets out of 10. After the adventure that was Space Mountain, we needed something to drown the adrenaline a little bit. So we went to Peter Pan. I enjoyed Peter Pan. Not because, like, oh, it was strolling and relaxed. I just like the scenery, like low-key London scenery. Especially for the time that, Peter Pan takes place in. It's pretty cool, and the fact that they managed to make a little cityscape, that made me pretty happy, alright? Call me basic, but I'm giving it 8 pans for Peter. After Peter Pan, we went to another slower ride, except this one was not as calming. That's right, the Haunted Mansion. But as we were on our way to the Haunted Mansion, we stopped by a little store called Memento Mori. Now when I saw this, I felt a bit disappointed. Because it said Memento Mori, but deep down in my hearts of heart, I knew Markiplier and Crank gameplays were nowhere to be found. Now while there was no Mark or Ethan, surprisingly, I was in Disney World at the same time MatPat was. He posted a picture of him with his son the same day that I was in Animal Kingdom while he was in Animal Kingdom. I could have met the guy. And I missed my shot, and so learning that information, I was also a little disappointed. Now the Haunted Mansion pissed me off on a few different levels. 1, it is not haunted. When you realize it's holographic, CGI, whatever. As a spiritual guy, it was a bit underwhelming. When it's overly haunted, it's not very creepy. And secondly, there was no Mark or Ethan to be found. Anyway, this is a short way of saying I'm giving this one 6 ghosts out of 10 ghouls. Oh, and my frustration doesn't just end with the Haunted Mansion, because I got stuck on the Haunted Mansion as we were almost out. The ride just kind of stopped. And it wasn't even, like, part of the ride. There's just like, oh, something happened. All right. So, whatever. That's over with. We go to Pirates of the Caribbean, however you choose to say it. We went on that ride. And while there was a lot of fun parts of it, I enjoyed. But once again, we got stuck last minute in a boat with Johnny Depp. We got stuck on another ride. Now there were a lot of Captain Jack Sparrow animatronics on that ride, and seeing that many Johnny Depps in the same place made me feel like I was scrolling through any Twitch streamer's clip channel during the months of the trial. I mean, seriously, that guy got milked for content like there was no tomorrow. Before we continue this video, I just want to address that this video was shot 2 separate days, thus the outfit changes and appearance changes, so don't worry about that. After Pirates of the Caribbean, we got a little hungry, so me and Brendan went on our own little adventure to a Mexican cantina. All this Disney food really had me missing normal food, so getting a nice fajita platter was a good change. I got a good taste of home. After we ate, we met back up with Jacob as our group had kind of split up a little bit. And while we were still waiting for everyone to be finished with their own thing, we saw something that piqued our interest, the Tiki Room. Me, Brendan, and Jacob just had to see what the fuck a Tiki Room was. Now, at first when I saw the Tiki Room, I thought that this would be like maybe an escape room or some kind of ride. It's not. It's an attraction, essentially. It's an animatronic musical, all pertaining around birds. Tropical birds, I should say. Now, if you're a big fan of birds, this is a very good place to be. If you're not a fan of loud noises, this is a terrible place to be. I mean, they're singing, they're chirping while thunderstorms are going off, and oh my god, it is such a fever dream. If you've never been to the Tiki Room, you have to be. Now, speaking of people loving birds, Mel is a big fan of birds, and so when we met up once again later on, we had to revisit the Tiki Room with them. It's just respect. We got some mixed reviews, but overall, I give the Tiki Room 7 parrots out of 10 cockatiels. After the Tiki Room, me, Jacob, and Brandon decided to visit the Hall of Presidents, as that was threatened as a punishment that if we did misbehave, you would have to go to the Hall of Presidents. We walked in, we walked out. We understand why it's a punishment. I don't know why in Disney World you try to bore the public with all these presidents. Jesus. But after we quickly escaped the Hall of Presidents, we met up once again. With that, as we started walking, we noticed that there were some closures on the streets, and we knew why. There was a parade going on in the middle of the Magic Kingdom. Now, as musicians ourselves, we understand, let's not try to distract them. Some people wanted to clap. We stayed out of it. Let them count their rhythms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no 5. But we understood. We watched the parade very respectfully, and then proceeded on a train to go meet Goofy. Now, I love Goofy, and Goofy had been such a part of me this trip. Everywhere I go, everywhere I turn, he's there. He's in my hotel room. He's next to a car. It's a sign. I have to meet him. I can't blow this. I have to meet Goofy, and I have to make a good first impression. Now, did I make a good first impression? No, not one bit. I went up to him when I met him as we waited in line. There's a little picture of us waiting in line, or just Linnea waiting in line. I shook his hand, and I said, "Nice to meet ya, Mick." Now, I don't know if you guys know Disney lore. Mick is not Goofy. That is Mickey Mouse. And I called him Mick, which is normally what he calls Mickey. So it felt a bit degrading, and I know it's just a guy in a costume, but I felt so fucking bad. I thoroughly apologized to him. I don't know if there's a picture of that. There is. I don't know if I have it. If it is, it's right there. I was very very embarrassed, but here it kind of looks like Linnea is trying to fight Donald Duck. I don't know. It was a great time, maybe. I'm very confused. I enjoyed it, but I feel like I could have handled that better. It was not one of my proudest moments. Give it 7.5 out of 10 for miscommunication. Once we escaped the magic carnival that was meeting Goofy and Donald, we entered back to the main street of the Magic Kingdom, and that's when we noticed more clumping, and all I knew was that we couldn't really move, and we found out why. There was a musical going on just right in the castle. It's Mickey Mouse, Elsa, all the Disney characters. And I don't know, it was weird seeing them all together and interacting. What the f*** is Anna doing with Mickey Mouse? But I don't know. I'm not even gonna give that one a rating. It was weird. We stuck around though. I guess the song was good. If you don't know, I'm from New England. And a big part of New England's history is the Revolution, in kind of that 1700s, 1800s period of time where the colonists revolted against England. I kind of like that architecture, and so my eye was drawn when we saw a tavern that kind of had a similar style. So we walked in, and it was a colonial styled restaurant with colonial food. We sat there and ate, and we shared a very touching moment. My camera wasn't rolling, but I mean, that moment might stick with me forever. Magic happens in the Magic Kingdom. Though it did get a bit rowdy, admittedly. We were kind of yelling and maybe throwing ketchup packets, but that, for legal reasons, we did none of that. And after, as our groups merged, we went out and we watched the fireworks together. I mean, it's just such a magical moment. It's hard not to feel good. After that, we tried to look around for more quieter places because we still had an hour to do whatever. And so we found this palm tree that had a little bench surrounding it. And that's when we decided some of us would sit there and then we would form a circle. Someone would lay a boombox beat, and we would start rapping our traumas in a circle. We called it the trauma circle. And, you know, it was a good group bonding experience, you know, team building. And there was a couple right next to us, a married couple, trying to get some marriage bonding. And we kind of ruined that for them. It definitely might have been a bit uncomfortable for them as they're trying to enjoy their time together, and you have a group of like 10 idiotic teenagers rapping about how they almost themselves at age 2 by accident. But for that hour, we're just laughing, talking, learning more about each other, and it was just such a great moment once again. I can't even rate that, you know? I mean, it's not an attraction, it's not, oh, I mean, I forgot to rate the fireworks. Fireworks 10 out of 10, that's anyway. But, I mean, you can't rate those experiences on a scale from 1 to 10. It's gonna go over. After that, we started making our way towards the exit, caught up with the rest of the groups on the trip. You know, we thought that we could put a bow tie on day 2. You know, we thought, the excitement's over, we're gonna go on a bus ride back to the hotel room and we're gonna sleep. We keep getting stuck on shit, dude. It's not fair.
Right, so our bus broke down.
The bus breaks down. What the f? We sat on there for about a good 15 minutes while the bus driver said, "Don't worry, this has happened before," which was not very promising, but he tries to fix the tire. Rest assured, the tire does not fix. So we get a backup bus. The backup bus hits a curb. It almost fucking breaks out again. I was livid, all right? I was sitting there. I'm in Florida. You know, the heat's beating down on me. It's doing an effect. Anyway, so the bus did eventually carry on, and we did get back to our hotel room. But the bus almost breaking down a second time. Like, it happens once. That's enough. A second time, even just a little tease. I had recently just experienced that. Doing it again, I don't feel like doing that. So yeah, we did lose a little bit of sleep. But, you know, we got back to the hotel room, and that put a bow tie on a unique day 2 at Magic Kingdom. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, you can go over and watch the Animal Kingdom vlog that we uploaded. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, put down a comment, interact, enjoy. And I'll see you guys for Epcot, day 3.
Bitch.